We're only a few months away from the iPhone 12 series launch and we know so much about them. So here are the top 10 upcoming features of the iPhone 12 series of phones that we are going to be getting in a few months' time. The first one is 4 models. We're getting 4 different phones in the series this time, ranging from a very small form factor all the way up to the iPhone 12 Pro Max with its huge 6.7-inch screen. I'm really sure that that small iPhone is going to sell in big numbers, mainly because it doesn't seem to have too many features taken away from it that the other bigger phones have, but it's a small form factor phone and a lot of people are just going to gravitate towards that one. Next is the new design, and we are getting a new design this time. The 3-year cycle has ended, so we're getting a return to the boxy type of shape or the squared off shape. So no more rounded edges, but flat edges like we got on the iPhone 4. Why is Apple changing the design here? There may be a couple of reasons. They may actually be able to shrink the bezels with this type of design and create a feeling that the screen is actually going closer to the edges than we get right now. There are also other design implications though. Apple are probably going to keep this design for the next few years. And we know that in the future, they are looking to take away the charging port completely, maybe on one of the iPhones. That will happen eventually. And so they may also add a magnetic MagSafe connector, just in case you do need to connect something. So a flat edge is going to be better for that. And they may just be introducing this design to use it in the years ahead. And number 3, leading on from that change in design, is a smaller notch and smaller bezels. This has been leaked. The notch design has changed. They've moved around some of the components in there, so all the Face ID components, and specifically the earpiece speaker maybe is going to be moved up a bit, so it's actually more in the top bezel than it is just in the screen like we get now. This means that they'll have more space there to make all the other components more compact, bring them in a bit, bring them closer, and that means a smaller notch on the iPhone this time. It is perfectly possible to put the earpiece in the bezel at the top. A ton of Android phones do it and do it successfully. How this will affect the speakers and the sound out of the device, no one can know until we get the final device in our hands, but I hope it's at least as good as we get now or even a bit better. If it does reduce in quality, that's a little bit of a bummer, but I guess a reduced notch is always a good thing. OLED screens is number 4. That's OLED screens on all of the phones. So not only 4 phones, not only a smaller, cheaper phone as the base model, but all of them getting OLED displays according to leaks. This means no more LCDs. Even though Apple LCDs are very good, OLEDs are chosen by flagship phones. They're going to give better colors overall. And we know all about the benefits in the Pro models of iPhones, but now even the very cheapest base model is getting an OLED screen, which means the device in general will be lighter and thinner just because the components aren't as big in OLEDs as they are in LCDs. So that's a really good thing for me, OLED screens across all the phones. 5G, of course, has to be mentioned, and the rumors are that all of the phones will get 5G connectivity this time. Apparently, though, they're not going to be exactly the same, so the 2 base models will be getting sub 6 gigahertz connectivity. This is the next step up above 4G. It does give some slightly higher speeds. It's definitely a bit of a bump over the 4G speeds. But the real super fast 5G is what's called millimeter wave, and that is apparently being kept for the 2 Pro models. Apple will, of course, want to say that all of their phones are 5G, and that technically will be correct, but the millimeter wave in the Pro models is faster if you can get that network connection, so you have to pay a little bit more for those Pro models if you want it. Number 6 is the A14 chipset. It's a given. Every new iPhone series will get a new chipset. So we're up to the A14 now. This is a big jump because we're on 7 nanometers now. The A13 from Apple uses a 7 nanometer process, and we're jumping all the way to a 5 nanometer process in this one. The brand new process from TSMC, who are manufacturing the chips for Apple. We really don't know too much about the chipset in terms of what the power is, any Geekbench results or any benchmark results for the chipset, but you know that it's just going to bring those iterative yearly upgrades in power and efficiency. And importantly for me is image processing. We know how good Apple phones are at images and also video. So I'm really looking forward to all of the image processing add-ons with Apple's custom cores and their image processors on that chip. Hopefully it's taken another big step forward, because last time it definitely did with Apple's Deep Fusion. That is just so good at dynamic range. So I'm looking forward to that and all the other upgrades in that chip. A big feature that is coming on these phones is the price, because, well, according to the leaks anyway, and we can't really confirm this until the official prices come out, but the iPhone is looking actually quite good value when you have a look at all the new specs that are coming and the prices. So according to the latest leaks anyway, the base model variant of the iPhone 12 series, what should be called the iPhone 12, starts at $649, which is one of the cheapest prices for a flagship iPhone in a long time. And you get an OLED screen and all the other things that really aren't too far away from the Pro models. So starting a brand new flagship iPhone at that price is definitely a good thing and really is a competitive price. If we can believe the leaks as well, the iPhone 12 Max and the iPhone 12 Pro, which actually are the same size in the screen, should only actually be both under $1,000. So that's 3 flagship phones under $1,000 for Apple, and even $1,099 for the Pro Max. I think all of these, considering the specs and their flagship phones, comparatively to what Android phones are costing this year, I don't think they're actually that expensive. We must though wait for the official prices, because these are maybe guides, and also a lot of the prices in America are actually pre-tax. So these prices may be off by 10 or even 20% by the time you've added on tax. In Europe, tax gets added on maybe 20%. So yeah, these prices look pretty good now, but they may differ by as much as 20%. So we'll have to wait and see what the prices really are. Number 8 is multiple cameras. So even though we're getting 2 base models here, a cheaper phone in the iPhone 12, even that phone, according to these leaks, has 2 cameras, which is a great thing. That is something that you used to have to go up to the Pro model for, but now we have 2 phones that aren't the Pro models that have multiple cameras, which just means that you're not really giving up anything whatsoever in those non-Pro models. The Pro models just adding the 5G and some extra cameras, which we'll get onto in a second. But for the base models to have 2 cameras is a big upgrade on what we got last time. So number 9, let's get onto those multiple cameras of the Pro phones. Triple cameras still, but there's a rumor that they may actually go from a 2x telephoto zoom into a 3x telephoto zoom. That's a pretty good upgrade overall, and they may be increasing the digital zoom range as well past 10, which they should really, because it's lagging behind a bit. But anyway, 3 cameras, they'll get some upgrades from the processor as well, but also adding a LiDAR sensor. That is basically a depth sensor, and it will help with portrait shots definitely, and with some AR applications as well that may be coming down the line. The feature that I want the most, and it was said to be coming, and then it was said that Apple may just still be testing it and they won't put it in the phone unless they can perfect it. It is a high refresh rate screen. So as we know, Apple uses ProMotion displays on some iPads, and it is popular now in the smartphone industry. Every Android phone is doing it. High refresh rates, 90 Hertz up to 120 Hertz, even 144 Hertz refresh rates in some gaming phones. And yeah, Apple definitely want to ride this wave. We're not sure if they are actually putting it in there yet. The rumors are that they were testing it. If they can't get it right, they won't do it. But that is my most hoped for feature of the iPhone 12 phones. And if it does come in those Pro models, I think they'll be a really good deal. They'll have a lot of really good specs. Okay, that's the top 10 upcoming features of the iPhone 12 series this year. We'll know a lot more as we get closer to the launch. I'll keep you guys updated, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.